What's up, guys? We're going to jump into a hive today. Remember that hive that swarmed the other day and it landed on a pallet? I think that was April the 27th, and now we're all the way down to about May the 16th, I think today is. So it's been a while. We're going to open up this hive and see what it looks like. We caught the swarm and made them walk in on a super, a medium super. So then we went ahead. If you watched that video, it was really good. And so what we did was we actually made that super on the upper part of the hive by slipping a deep underneath of it. And we put an awesome frame from an awesome company. We're going to see if that's just a bunch of talk or if that really is an awesome frame. I'm going to show evidence of what a piece of tape does that I showed you how to mark your frames with a piece of tape. We're going to see if the bees chewed that off or not. Am I going to be a fool or am I going to be a wise man? I'm going to show you that piece of tape, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be in great shape. Also, we're going to find an unusual thing in this hive, and I want you to pay close attention. I'm going to show you why it happened and what you could have done to prevent it, and you'll be surprised. Some of you are making this mistake a lot. You are. So let's jump into this hive and let's get started. Well, what do you think? Brood in both boxes? I would imagine we're going to see brood in this upper super. So what we might try to do today is add another deep to it, and we'll move that super up higher above another deep we can add. Then maybe we can put a queen excluder if we choose to do that between the two deeps. So let's just see what has a swarm done after a couple of weeks. It'd be fun to find out. I like to smoke under the hood a little bit before I open up the hive. Then I just like to kind of open it up slowly. Let's look for any small hive beetles that might be on the... Yep, there's one right here, small hive beetle here. Got it. There's an ant or a spider. Here's another small hive beetle right here. There's one there. So I like to kill those small hive beetles. They kind of gravitate up here. We might have to put some small hive beetle traps on this hive since we've already seen some. Well, I don't know, maybe you've seen the video when I made this swarm and I threw a empty super on top here. Kind of caught them in that super, left them in there, and then I added the deep below it. It looks like to me they've done a lot of work in this super up here. They look packed. I'm going to start on the frame next to the wall. Lift that out of there, see what we got. Using my J-hook hive tool. I love the J-hook hive tool. A lot of you know I was kind of slow moving that direction, but it does make it easier to lift frames out. Working bare-handed today. Working some hives earlier and got stung on the hand a few times, so I'm a little sore, but not bad. So you're looking at frames here. This is a lot of nectar. Right now we have black locust in full bloom, and it's beautiful, making a lot of nectar for the bees. And look at that. These frames were empty, as I remember, and they've already drawn it out, cleaned it up, almost got this one like practically capped over all the way. Wow. Set that out because we don't have a frame hanger. Still wanting to get you guys to subscribe and help me get to 100,000 subscribers. We've crossed 86,000, which is huge, which means we only need 14,000 more. And that's not a lot in the world of YouTube. So if you enjoy the content that I create here to help you become a better beekeeper, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. If you leave a thumbs up, the video kind of goes crazy and everybody watches it and I get more views if you give me a thumbs up and leave some comments. You're going to leave a comment and say, gosh, that's a good brood pattern. On both sides, that's a good brood pattern. A lot of you will ask questions like, David, oh no, what are you going to do? You got brood in a super. Womp, womp, womp. A lot of people get scared, worried. They feel like, that's not supposed to happen. How are you ever going to get that brood out of that super, David? You've ruined the whole super full of brood. Not really. Some people use all mediums for the brood nest. I'm fine with that. That's some impressive brood though, isn't it? Like I said, I might move it up. I might leave it down here as a brood nest area. I'm getting old. I don't like lifting up heavy boxes. I might go to all mediums for everything. The brood doesn't ever stop. It just keeps going. This is a never-ending brood cycle that just brood frame after brood frame after brood frame. I don't think the queen would be on a frame of solid brood like that because she's full of eggs. She likes to lay eggs, so you would expect her to be laying eggs on a frame that had some room for her to lay eggs on. This is a different color here. It's more brown on this side, more yellow, just because it's newer wax, and it's sometimes the nectar flow at the moment has some influence on what color those frames will, the wax on the frames will be. You know, if you have dandelions everywhere and they start pulling out some frames, that can be really yellow for sure. And the queen decided that other hives needed some drones, so she laid some non-fertilized eggs to increase the drone population in this mating season, in this swarming season. So all hives have to produce drones in order to mate with other hives. The queen would never mate with the drones from her own hive. That would be her brothers if she was a virgin queen. Yeah, the brood just keeps going. I mean, it's just like brood, brood, brood. Oh, nope, I thought that was a queen cell. Let me show you that. My eye just caught that little area right there, and I was like, gosh, I bet that's a queen cell, but it's just a stray piece of comb that they built in a funny way, like that. I'm anxious to look at the frames down on the bottom. I'm getting bored looking up here. Nectar and brood, that's interesting, isn't it? Now the queen could be on this frame because it's a frame that has a lot of larvae on it, but not really much in the way of eggs. They're older larvae. Hey, here's a tip for you. You know, you can tell how old different stages of larvae is in if you kind of get an idea of how it looks at different ages, like a 2-day-old larvae, 3-day-old larvae, 6-day-old larvae. Then you can think, oh yeah, I know when the queen laid those eggs. Yeah, the queen could definitely be on this frame because there's eggs and young larvae. And I forgot to wear my reader glasses, so I'm in the shade, a shaded area. I'm doing my best to see if I might see the queen. Doesn't look like it here. Let's flip it over. Give this a careful look. Don't see the queen there. I'm going to take a look at one more frame. We have found the queen on these frames that are close to the wall. Wow, talk about your overdue on the propolis there. Kind of went crazy on sealing this off with propolis. When do I work barehanded and when do I wear gloves? I like to go barehanded as long as I can, but when it becomes problematic and the bees are stinging my hands, I'll go to my gloves. All right, let's get this super back together. And then we'll take it off and then we'll look down below for the queen and those frames that we added in there that are supposed to really do an awesome job. People often, companies will send me things or ask me to evaluate things. And I think more than anything, they just want me to talk about their stuff on my YouTube channel. You know, the more beekeepers that are watching my channel, the more chances they have at selling their stuff. I mean, I have 85,000 subscribers. So, 86 I think, but there's a lot more people that view my channel than I have subscribers. So it becomes a kind of a good thing when somebody wants to promote a product. They can do it on a strong beekeeping channel. One of the things that I'm doing that you guys like is I'm kind of giving you an idea about the Pierce Beekeeping Company. They're really kind to give us things to give away here. If you haven't watched that video on how to actually become eligible to be a part of that giveaway, you need to watch a few videos back where I explain that. If you've only watched one of my videos, you're missing out on a lot of good videos. So, you know, what you got to do is watch one video and go, wow, I got to watch some more. And just start doing some binge watching of my videos. Because a lot of you asked me questions that I answered like one video ago. They're like, you didn't watch my last video. So, whoop, wow, sliding away here. Come back. Stronger than I look. So do start checking out different videos that I make. I've probably addressed almost every topic that you can imagine. Maybe not, but I think so. I'm going to put this super over here on top of this hive. Whew, there we go. All right. Hey, look at that piece of tape. This says, oh, 427. Awesome. Awesome. Let's get the bees. Awesome company. Oh, okay. Yeah, awesome company. Ooh, let's see what happened here. Some stray comb everywhere. It's like, see what happens if you can notice this. I left a little gap right here. Here, look at that. Do you see that? It's about a little thicker than my J-hook hive tool, but not much. So that is a tiny space. My error in leaving that space there resulted in this. Look at that. Do you see that? It's a piece of stray comb, so that it could have some funky comb in here. It won't be the company's fault. It's going to be my fault for not keeping my frames close together. Just that much of a gap. I should have pushed them all from the wall, both walls, hard in the center. Sometimes we get in a hurry, make little mistakes like that. Let's see what that looks like. A lot of you keep asking me, when you watch me make a video, you'll say, hey, how did you put that little piece of plastic in your veil? And that wasn't too many videos ago, about 4 or 5 videos back. So if you do start binge watching some of my videos, you'll find answers to the question that you're asking. But that's a good video. I showed you how I just took a piece of plastic and I used silicone, 100% silicone, and just cut my veil and cut the plastic to fit and siliconed it in there, and it is staying in there solid. I want to encourage you guys to please leave a thanks down below. I've got a special feature on my YouTube channel here, thanks and a tip. If you'd be so kind to let me know that you've enjoyed this video as you watch it and give me a thanks and a tip. Hey, that's much appreciated. A lot of you are doing that, and I thank you very much. I didn't see the queen. We're going to leave that frame out for spacing, allow us to move things around. All right. Here's a plastic frame. I use plastic and wood frames together. Ooh, get my finger where the bees won't sting me. They're starting to draw it out from the top. Not much on that side. Oh, not bad on this side. Very nice. And a lot of eggs on this frame that it's just been drawn out. When you see eggs, immediately start saying queen. Those are straight up and down eggs. That means the queen was there today, and she could be there on this frame right now because there's eggs. Quick glance on the back side. Sometimes she'll roll over, but I didn't see her there. All right, let's check on this green drone comb for mite trapping. If you don't know about green drone comb, it's a neat way that you can control mites without the use of harsh and maybe sometimes questionable chemicals in your hive. So what you do, you just put this drone comb in here, wait for them to start capping it off, and then you freeze it. All right, well, they're starting to draw it out in weird, funky ways, which is not uncommon. Could be the queen here because she has to lay that drone brood there, those drone eggs. I'm going to give it a look over. Nothing on that side. It's time to actually freeze this. It's not all the way capped over all the way down, so I could wait a little bit. I think I'm going to take it, freeze it, get rid of some of the mites if there's any. Don't see the queen, so let's put that there and keep looking. Well, we know the queen is in there. We saw eggs, so we don't have to find the queen, but it's just fun, and we want to get to that awesome comb and look at it. Okay, here's a nice frame. It's got eggs. They've cleaned it up. It's got larvae on it, some pollen in a corner. And I'm looking for my queen, and I don't see a queen on that side. Ooh, look at this. This is some of the stuff we can see sometimes on, this is kind of some used comb. You can see I've used it before and washed it off, and there's stuff on the bottom which is a base of cocoons. I probably should have coated this with wax again. It may have prevented this from happening. But upon closer examination of this, it does not have any brood in it. So if we want to, we can just remove this, shake the bees off. It just has some nectar in it. And that way, maybe we can get them to start building things correctly again. I know you guys have seen this too in some of your stuff. A lot of people will say this is just because it's plastic comb or plastic foundation. That's what they do. I do see it more on plastic foundation, but it's plastic foundation that we're kind of sloppy with, or, you know, not wax coated well enough. Like I said, this is something that I did by just taking something that probably been sitting out in the sun or in the weather. I should have coated it with wax a little bit better, but we'll see how they do with this. Let's look for the queen, because I saw some bees pointing their Nasonov gland toward this side, like, hey, the queen's on the other side. Is that what they were doing? Or they sometimes they just spray the Nasonov gland to help the bees get orientated where the hive is, in case some of them were flying around confused. But don't see the queen on this frame. Okay, let's go across toward the awesome frame. Let's smoke them. They're really runny on that frame. I'm surprised these bees are so runny on that particular frame. In a crazy way. Loud too. There's a queen. She's a big queen. Do you see how big she is? Gigantic. Getting fed there. Bees are feeding her. She's walking around. When you see the queen is on a frame like this, you want to be careful what you do with this frame. What I like to do is, like, she's right in the center. I'm going to put it this way against this next frame. So now I don't have to worry about injuring her because she's between those two frames, you know, as opposed to being on this side. All right, here's the awesome company. I didn't want to say what the name of it is yet. I think some of you took a lot of guesses at it. And remember, I didn't have these pushed close together, so we're not going to hold them accountable for anything bad on that side. Oh, wow. I'm going to have to say, that is awesome. Oh my gosh, that is just wonderful. And look at all those eggs in there. Can you see the eggs? And there's larvae in different stages. Now I want to show you, notice how this comb is different color. You have a brighter white down here, and that's because it's newer wax that they have just secreted from their wax glands and built that out. Up here they've been tracking it with pollen. Pollen gets on their legs and it just kind of darkens it over time, the pollen they put up here. Okay, I'm going to say I'm really impressed a lot with this awesome company. This is my mistake on this side. They built a little bit of extra wax. Just a little bit though. Not bad at all. Look at that. Kind of impressed. All right. I have to make a video about that company. I think I have some more frames in another hive, some larger, like more of them, 4 or 5 of them. Well, I've seen enough. What we're going to do now is put this hive back together. Our queen is over here, and then we're going to add a deep hive body. We're going to put a super on it. Oh, then we're going to add a deep hive body. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to run it as I had good luck last year running a deep and a medium super through the winter. And I'm going to do that on this hive. So their brood nest is going to be consisting of a deep hive body on the bottom and a medium super above that deep. And I'm going to use another deep above that as my honey super, just because I want to torture my back. That's the only reason. I just want to lift up an 85-pound deep box full of honey. Yeah, why not, right? Hey, if you guys have not taken a beekeeping class and you started beekeeping thinking that, you know, how hard can this be? I can just watch a bunch of YouTube videos and become YouTube certified in beekeeping, right? That's not a thing. I'm just joking. But sometimes that can be very, very costly, because some people ask me questions on YouTube here and I'm like, uh-oh, somebody didn't take a basic class, because that, if you don't know that information that you just asked me, there's a ton of stuff you don't know that you need to know, or else it's going to be bad. All right, so we got the frames kind of pushed back together good. Hey guys, you see this super here? I want to teach you an important lesson. This is awesome. I don't think you'll be taught this anywhere except here, but look at this. I like to set them on their sides like this, because on the back side, the bottom, I could have a queen or something, or queen cell, and if I just set it on the ground, you know, bad things happen. I like to set it this way, but you'll notice you can see the ears to, I call them ears, the ears to the frame. That means that this is the top. When you're working a hive and you're moving stuff around, and all at once you kind of forgot which orientation these hive boxes are, you can pick it up the wrong way. Let me show you. Now look at this back side. See how the back side looks different? Let me show you. Yeah, look at this. See, no, the ears are smaller down here. You can barely see them with, yeah. But there's a gap there because they don't hang all the way down. So this is the bottom. So if you pick this up thinking this is the top, all the frames are going to fall out. So please, whatever you do, when you set a box like this on its side, it's important for you to realize which is up and which is down, because when you pick it up to put it back on the hive, you want to make sure the frames don't fall out. And you can see I'm setting all these boxes on their side, on the front side of the boxes. All right, so now we're going to put this one back. Again, this is the front. I don't have any bees that are in the way. It's already kind of heavy. Got a lot of nectar in it, but a lot of brood. All right, we've got that in position. Very good. All right, now we're going to put our deep on. Again, look for the orientation so your frames don't fall out. Pick it up so the top is facing up. We're not going to put a queen excluder on right now. Another tip I want to tell you guys, many of you pronounce the queen excluder incorrectly. So many of you mispronounce that. I'm always correcting you when you mispronounce it. It is not called a queen extruder. It's a queen excluder. Gosh, I felt really good about the tips I gave you in this video, especially the one about how you pick up that deep hive body or your super, making sure the frames, you know, are facing up. When you pick it up, like, don't flip it over and all the frames fall out. That's a very good tip. And also the tip about keeping your frames pushed tightly together, because if you don't, it gets bad like that. Also, I want you to watch the video, if you haven't seen it yet, where I caught this swarm and how we moved it over here. If you haven't seen that video, take a look right here, and because you may have a swarm coming up pretty soon and you'll know what to do. I'll see you over there.